Hey everybody, David Essel here. And as you know, on a monthly basis, sometimes every other week, we take all of the questions that come in from our program, Helping Americans Heal, and we put them in some type of an order, and then I answer your questions as part of the program, which I'm so excited to do. And today I'm also going to do a little holiday message. So you know that when you want to send me an email, just go to talkdavid.com, hit the contact us button and say, hey, here's a question I'd like to answer or to have you answer on your next Mastermind video, and we will put them all together and do just that, okay? But first, let me say this. It doesn't matter to me what faith you come from. It doesn't matter to me what you believe in spiritually. It doesn't matter if you love Hanukkah and Christmas or don't like them at all. I just wanted to pause for a second and let you know how much you mean to me to be part of my life in any way that you might be part of my life, even just by watching this video. I have so much gratitude over the last 42 years to be able to do the work I love, and I can only do the work I love if I have amazing people like you in my life and who are with me on this journey, who want to change, who want to grow. I would like this year, I'm thinking of 3 words I'd like you to write down for our holiday season to contemplate and write about and see how you might be able to improve these 3 areas of your life. And the first is going to be gratitude. You know, being grateful for the smallest things in the world in this moment means everything to me and to most people in life when we slow down and do it that way. Instead of waiting for Christmas Day or some other holiday to be super happy and grateful, why don't we just do it right now? For the fact that we had breakfast or lunch or dinner, the fact that we have a place to live, the fact that we have a friend, even just one friend, maybe just the fact we made it through today. These are incredibly stressful times. The addictions are going through the roof. So many couples are at each other's throats, financial challenges. You know, there's so much going on right now that's so stressful. And so this message is about just, can we slow down? And can we just find a morsel of gratitude? When I say that I survived the day, that might be a very grateful moment for many people in our country, many people in this world, that I'm actually able to get up in the morning and go to work or look for a job or whatever. It might be some of those small aspects of gratitude that I can see or I can hear or I can walk if we can see, hear, or walk. You know, it's like Eckhart Tolle says it the best, I believe, in his book, The Power of Now, is that this is the only moment that matters. Me doing this video for you, that's all that I care about. I'm going to get to your questions in a minute, but I am filled with so much gratitude to be able to do this video and to be able to share messages that just might have a positive impact on you or your family. I mean, that's all I really care. I just love doing this work. I love trying to find new ways to help people overcome anxiety and depression and addiction and relationship challenges and financial challenges and career challenges and spiritual challenges. You know, so number 1, I want you to really focus on gratitude. Write it down. The smallest things every day is fine. Number 2 is patience. We have to be very patient these days with everything from the pandemic to finances to people in our lives, right? It's like really a difficult time, a lot of irritability, a lot of impatience. So if you'll write down the word patience and see what that means to you. The last word is compassion. You know, I've said this so many times. When I think of my mom who passed away this year, the 2 words that come to my mind are patience and compassion, because she had the ultimate patience and the ultimate compassion for me. I was the troubled kid, absolutely, and how she hung in there, I don't know, but I have immense gratitude for that, right? So let's think of gratitude. Let's think of patience. Let's think of compassion this year during the holiday spirits, okay? And let's get out there and do our thing and be a voice of cheer in these outrageously challenging times. I'm just so glad you're with us. I'm David Essel, and of course, if you have family members that have not or friends that haven't joined our program, Helping Americans Heal, go ahead, because they're going to get these videos too, and they're going to get all the other gifts that we give every Monday, every month, the free books and all that stuff. So it's all at talkdavid.com, and as you know, it's only $9.98 a week. So let's fill this program up so we can help more and more Americans all over the country. All right, I'm going to get to your emails now, answering your letters. Here we go. David, time management is an issue for me, and it has been my whole life. With delays in my work and other things, sometimes time is out of my control, and I understand that. Do you have any daily tips for organization that might help me with time management? And I love this question because, the most successful people in the world that I have met have all been masters of time management. Now, there's some people that are extremely eccentric, right? And maybe it's musicians or artists or something, whatever it might be, that they find that time management isn't even in their scope, but they stay grounded. They're not stressed or anxious. They don't create stress and anxiety in other people's lives, but they're just not as organized, let's see, many times as many other people want to be or can be. So number one, I'll just tell you a brief story. It was around 1986 or 1987. I met one of my mentors, Joe Cerulli, who still is a mentor of mine today. And in that conversation, he was talking about time management, and I had a list of all these things that I had to do, and we were talking one time on the phone, and he said, tell me about your organization. And I said, well, I've got a list of 30 things on my to-do list right now. And he said, that's way too many. And I'm sitting here thinking, way too many, but it's everything I have to do. And then he asked me a question. On that list, are there any carryover items? Meaning ones that I was going to do yesterday, the day before, the week before, and I never did. And I said, yes. He said, that's what you want to take care of first. So here is what I believe the greatest time management exercise I could give you or anyone else, and we've been giving it to people for about 35 years, so it really works. Number one, the night before, not the day of, the night before, write out a list of what you need to do the next day. That's step one. So tonight, you would write out everything you need to do tomorrow. Then once that list is done, you'd prioritize it in regards to the tasks that you've procrastinated on first, or the tasks that you'd rather not do first. Okay, when we get that focused and we say, okay, here's 6 things I've been pulling for the last 3 or 4 days, I don't want to do them first thing in the morning. And then the last thing about this is to timeline when you're going to do your tasks for tomorrow. So you may say at 8 a.m. I'm going to do this, at 8:30 this, at 10 o'clock this, at 12 this, at 2 this, and then follow your timeline. Put alarms on your phone if you have to. Okay, this program works if you work it the way I gave it to you. The night before you write your list, then you prioritize your list, and you make sure that at the top are those things that you'd rather not do or things you've procrastinated on. Now, by doing that, you're going to have freedom emotionally. In the back of your mind, you're not going to be going, oh man, I got to call that client. I was going to call him yesterday, or I got to call that bill collector, or I got to call to get utilities. There's some screw up with that. Maybe I'll do it later. No, we want to do these things first thing in the morning so they're out of our hair. Then we're emotionally free, and we'll have the creativity and the energy to have an incredible day. Okay, so I'm glad you had that question, a beautiful question. I know it's going to help many of us. Next, I eat a lot of sugar, but only at night. Can you explain how I can go 20 hours never thinking about sugar, and then 3 hours before bed, I watch TV and eat sugar nonstop? Oh my God. Well, first of all, yes. And there's a lot of us that are into this. If it's not sugar, people are smoking pot all night, or they're drinking, or increasing their addictions in some way or whatsoever. And sugar is an addiction, and it goes to the pleasure center of the brain. When it hits the pleasure center of the brain, it has a tendency in most adults to numb our emotions. So when we're consuming sugar at night, that puts us in a relaxed state momentarily. In that relaxed state, we're kind of numb emotionally. We're not really thinking of what we need to do that we didn't do. We don't really think about the resentments or whatever it might be. Whatever we don't want to feel, sugar will take care of that. Okay, now the question that I would have for you is, did you ever do something before sugar? Like, did you smoke before sugar? Did you drink before sugar? Because that could have been a cross addiction. When we drop one addiction, we have a tendency to pick up another that goes to the pleasure center of the brain to once again numb emotions, to take us out of our current reality. Okay, so that's number one of the reasons why we would consume sugar at night. And now that's a physiological and emotional connection, right? And then the habit of it. Once you do something on a regular basis for, maybe just 30, 60, 90 days, it becomes a habit. Now, if it's good, great. Sugar, not so great. I did the same thing. When I dropped alcohol years and years ago, I cross-addicted immediately to sugar. For a very long time, I consumed huge amounts of sugar every night. And then I realized I was an addict once again, and I had to get rid of the sugar, right? So there are reasons that we do it. And then in regards to how do we break it? Well, number one is that there's going to be 2 supplements I recommend. Tryptophan is a relaxant. So, look at your prescriptions and make sure that your doctor is okay with you taking amino acids if you're taking any emotional control or mental supplementation for anxiety, depression, etc. Whenever you're taking those kind of medications, you want to make sure before you add something like an amino acid that there's no contraindication. But for those people that have no contraindication, I would recommend taking tryptophan on an empty stomach about an hour before you normally begin your sugar gouge, okay? Take it then because it's a relaxant and it can help do the same thing. And the last thing I'd recommend is glutamine. Glutamine is another amino acid. Take 1,000 milligrams underneath your tongue, and I would take it first thing in the morning at noon and in the right after dinner or right before dinner, either way. Glutamine is what will take away probably about 50% of your cravings for sugar. It's incredible how powerful this is. But it's got to be taken, and we take it sublingually, meaning under the tongue. Let it sit there, be absorbed into the body. It has no taste whatsoever. And after a few minutes, it might turn to a little paste in your mouth. Just drink some water and swallow it down, okay? But great question on sugar. I hope that's going to help you. All right, let's see here. Next up, this is an awesome question. Is it possible to save a marriage if only one person goes? My wife refuses. She says, our arguments are all my fault. Not sure what to do. Well, I can help you immensely here. Up until 1996, we believed, like most counselors and therapists believe, that in order to be effective in marriage counseling or couples counseling, if they're not married, is that we really, truly do have to do it together. On the phone, Skype, Zoom, or in an office. And we believed that up until 1996. And then we changed everything. And the benefits have been immense. In our brand new book, Helping Americans Heal, we tell several stories of clients that were on the verge of divorce, and we got them turned around. And in many cases, it's because only one came in to do the work. Again, if one of you does the work and takes responsibility for your side of the dysfunction in the relationship, and you change your side of the dysfunction in the relationship, we have a great chance of the relationship healing. And it happens all the time. I mean, continually. We'll have people, the wife will come in or the husband will come in, their partner will not come in, and 6 months later they're looking at me going, David, how did we do this? How do we turn it around? So don't buy into the notion. I have a friend of mine the other day that I have recommended to her multiple times to get into counseling. She's had a very difficult childhood, a very challenging life. And I said, this is the perfect time, and she said, no, my partner won't go. And all the therapists said that if your partner doesn't go, it's a waste of time. And I just threw my hands up in the air and I said, I am so sorry you're hearing this. That's nonsense. Oh my God, it's crazy making. No, go. Because if you heal, there's a chance that your relationship will heal. If you don't go, there's no chance the relationship will heal. Oh my gosh, as a matter of fact, when I saw your question, I was thinking of one of my clients today. Great story. About a month ago, she came to me. She got engaged. The relationship has been up and down, 1 week great, 1 week terrible. And so she was afraid that she was going to lose the engagement. She said, I'm going to walk away from it. I started working with her, and I worked with her partner one time, and then her partner chose not to do any more work. As I've continued to work with her, and I just had a session with her yesterday, oh my God, she said, David, you're not going to believe what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Through my work with you and seeing the role I'm playing, I'm disengaging from all the insanity that I was a part of with my partner before. And our relationship is dramatically healing in just a few weeks. So don't buy into that notion that you have to do it together, okay? That story should prove it all right there. All right, here we go. Next up. I have little confidence in life. I put on a good face in public. People always say, you sure are incredibly confident, but I don't feel that way. How can my lack of confidence be created to become a more confident person? So first of all, 0 to 18 is normally where most of us either come out of life or out of that 18 years with confidence or without. So I say go back into your childhood, 0 to 18. Did mom or dad or a grandmother or grandfather lack confidence? Were they helicopter parents that were hovering over you all the time, which can decrease a child's confidence? Did every decision that they made when you were watching them with their partner, their husband, their wife, what your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, whatever, did they acquiesce all the time? In other words, did they not have a strong voice? Were they codependent? You see, if you're raised in an environment with just one main person in your life, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, someone who has very little confidence, and you're around them all the time, many times we pick up those traits. We don't want to, we don't do it consciously, but it sinks into the subconscious mind. So the first thing I would do is to get a logical origin of where your lack of confidence comes from, is write down 0 to 18, and was there anyone in your life that lacked confidence? Right away you can go, oh my God, I can't believe it, it was my dad. I was working with a guy the other day and he goes, it's my dad. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'm acting like my dad. My dad never had confidence in life. See, that blew up his mind because now he had an origin of where his lack of confidence came from. So that's step number one. We may not feel worthy of even improving our confidence. So I want you to Google self-worth, how to improve self-worth. If you can improve your self-worth, you'll automatically improve your confidence. And what's self-worth? Self-worth is when we say, I am worthy of losing this weight, making this money, leaving this relationship to be in a better one, getting into this relationship because I've been single for a while, but I'm going to give it a shot, right? It's like that's the confidence that people with high self-worth have. I'm going to write this book. If it sells only 2 copies, that's fine. See, that's a person with confidence. You can gain it too, but we've got to look at our self-worth. And then the last thing I wrote down as I read your question is, do you have any significant people in your life who have confidence? Do you have any friends, siblings, parents, next door neighbors, coworkers that are extremely confident in life? If so, start to hang out with them more. Talk to them about confidence. Ask them how they become so confident. Ask them what they do on a daily basis, because most of us who are confident in life and whatever we might be confident in it, it's because we've been doing it for a while, right? And the only way to become more confident in life, this is going to blow your mind, is to risk. See, the more we risk, and even if we lose or fail or whatever the word is, we're going to learn and we move forward again. So we risk in that new relationship. It doesn't work. Well, learn what you can and move forward. You risk in starting to open that new business. Didn't work. Learn what you can from it and move forward. That builds confidence. Does that make sense? Unbelievable. And just remember, who you hang out with is crucial. Only hang out with very, very confident people. I love this question, especially. All right, so before I answer this question, I really think that this is a time in our lives that we need to bring more spirituality into our life. Now, some people may say more religion, and that's fine. Whether you're religious or spiritual, it doesn't matter to me. But I think we need, during this crazy time we're in with the pandemic, we need to be focusing more on our spiritual practices. And I want to help you. We have a course, Advanced Spiritual Studies. If you want to get involved with a really deep course and learning about all the different paths of spirituality and how to deepen yours, go to talkdavid.com and look for our course, How to Deepen Your Spiritual Practice, Advanced Spiritual Practices. It's in one of our, I think we have 17 courses that I teach one-on-one, and it's one of the courses, Deepening Your Advanced Spiritual Practices. So go check it out. It's a phenomenal course, and we can go much deeper in it. And this time in our lives, the more spiritual that we become, the deeper our spiritual or religious practices, whatever word you want to use in the morning especially, the easier life gets. So let me answer this question. Who is one of your favorite spiritual authors and why? I'm gonna say 2, okay? Joel Goldsmith blows my mind. One of the books that I reread of his probably 5 times a year, I'm not kidding, I read the same book 5 times a year, is The Infinite Way. A very deep spiritual practice book, incredibly mind-blowing. I happen to love it. You may not, or you may, but answer to that question is that I think we need to be reading more about spirituality, and he's one of my favorites. The other one is an Indian saint named Muktananda, who wrote this incredible book, I Am That. Now, of course, the Bible has great stories. All religious practices has great stories, right? But I find these 2 people as incredible writers for our time. Even though they wrote these books years ago, they're perfect for our time. I just love the openness that they both come with. I love the fact that they know God is pure love. So, there's just a lot of things in their books I just absolutely love. So I hope that'll help you. And don't forget to start putting more time into your spiritual practices. David, I've had migraines for 20 years. I think before you said that they might be more environmentally caused versus genetics. Do you have any book recommendations? And I really believe, and a lot of people who disagree with me, that's okay. I really believe a lot of our misfunctions or dysfunctions in life, like migraines, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, are environmentally based. In other words, stress-based, PTSD-based, stress-based, PTSD-based. I really believe it. And in regards to migraines, I mean, when we look at the studies out that say what percentage of migraines or what percentage of obesity is related to genetics, what percentage of anxiety or depression, it's usually incredibly small. But there is a great book by Joan Borysenko. Joan Borysenko, BorYsenko. Borysenko. I interviewed Joan years ago. I think her book was written in the 80s or 90s. Mending the Mind, Minding the Body. Mending the Mind, Minding the Body. Mending the Mind, Minding the Body. Write that down. It's an amazing book on migraines. And I think it's going to shock you as you read it, but it can really help you to understand it. This is a holiday. I got a couple holiday questions, and I'm so glad people wrote them in. Holidays are very lonely for me after losing my partner a year ago. Any ideas to help? I am so sorry, first of all. A difficult time of year, a difficult pandemic, and losing your partner all at the same time. I'm really sorry. I am really sorry that happened. The very first thing I would ask is, have you gone through a grieving course, a grieving program, even in a group setting or in an individual setting with a counselor? That would be the very first thing I would do, is that I would get myself in a grief course. Now, grief groups can be great, but we just have to make sure the moderator is in control and people don't monopolize the time with their stories or their sadness. It really needs to be equally shared. So if the grief group works for you, fantastic. Otherwise, find a counselor to take you through a grief program. It is really the first step. As most of you know, my mom died this year in January. And I created a grief program 30 years ago, and the day after she died, I put myself right into my own program. And I'm really glad I did. And it's difficult to go through the grieving process. We do it all in writing, but I'm going to recommend that, okay, as number one. Number two, I'm going to say volunteer. Oh my God, put yourself to work helping others. Rescue Mission, Salvation Army, women's shelters. There's thousands of different places you can volunteer, and I would highly recommend that you do that, okay? And then number three is make sure that you have a solid support system, and that might be the grief group, or it might be some other type of a group. It doesn't even have to be related to the holidays. If you're in a photography group, or you're in an exercise group, or you're in a book reading group, a book club, try to get involved with other people, okay? I hope those three tips will help. And I will say a prayer for you. I know it's got to be incredibly difficult. And then the last question that I came in is that we are a family of four, almost out of money, very little budget for Christmas, and Christmas is here. Do you have any ideas of how we can get our kids inexpensive gifts? When I say that our budget is low, it's outrageously low. Number one, I'm going to say Etsy, ETSY.com. Etsy.com is a website filled with people that do handmade, everything from coffee mugs to scarves to hats to mittens to little toys and gifts. So I would check out Etsy. My first recommendation would be that. The second recommendation, this might seem strange, would be Goodwill. You might find books that haven't been marked up. You might find bikes and things like that, maybe just a little touch-up paint or something that can make it look brand new. So I would say Etsy and Goodwill are two of the greatest places that you can look for gifts, and I'm so glad that you're budget-minded. Too many families, when it comes to Christmas, go, well, we don't have any money and we haven't worked for months, but let's just, the kids really need this. And it's better to be real with our children than it is to be fake and to put yourself in financial debt or credit card debt, okay? So, hey, listen, I want to share this message all over the place. Send it to your friends. Send it to your families. My God, let's get these answers out there to help more people to heal, okay? That's all I'm about. That's all I care about, is helping Americans heal, and, of course, then helping the world to heal. Don't forget, if you have friends or family members that have not yet joined our program, Helping Americans Heal, it's only $9.98 a week. They start off right away when they join getting our #1 best-selling book, Positive Thinking. So get your friends, your family to join. Incredibly, less than $10 a week, incredibly inexpensive. Then every week you'll get articles and tips and more. And then I'm so excited. Our brand new book, Helping Americans Heal, is right around the corner to be released. So all of that's going to be at talkdavid.com. I want to wish you a beautiful holiday season. If we don't connect between now and then, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And then once again, take care of yourself. I'm David Essel, sending you all kinds of love. Have a beautiful day.